We have seen that the formula for acceleration is equal to v times omega, the linear velocity times the angular velocity, and from that we can get the force just by multiplying by the mass. I'm going to now write down a few other forms, a few other ways of writing this formula that could be useful. So let me first start by remembering that A is V omega. Then I'm going to just clear up the whole lot. Okay, so A is equal to V omega, and now to write out the other forms that we can use, let's recall the relations for V and omega. Now remember that we had relations between, let's say, this angle and the time taken to travel. So we know that, and the arc length, the distance moved. So we know things like the distance over time is the velocity, angular velocity is angle over time, and the relation between s and theta is r theta is equal to the arc length. Okay, we know this, and we also know how those two are connected, because if I multiply both sides of this by r theta over t, then because r theta is s, so this is actually s over t, which is v. So I actually have a relation between this and this. V is actually r omega. Now this is one thing I can use here. So let me write out this part. There are two ways I can do this. I can either say that V from here. Okay, let me make this more explicit. So from here, I have that either that V is equal to r omega, or if I move the r over to the other side, I have omega is equal to V over r. I can have either of this form. Now I can make use of this here. So V is r omega. So I can write it out. A is equal to r omega, that's V, times omega. So in other words, I can have A equals to r, or omega squared r. Alright. Now, or I can do it another way. I can write omega in terms of V. So that's V, and omega I know from here is V over R. So V times V over R. And that is V squared over R. So now I have these two forms for the acceleration. I should, while we are here, I'll just mention that we have we have learned that the force, this force is called the centripetal force. So this acceleration is called it's called the centripetal acceleration. Okay, and from these two expressions for the acceleration, I can now write down expressions, the corresponding expressions for the force. So force, we know force is mass times acceleration. So therefore, since acceleration can be either of this, I can either write force is equal to mass times this one, which is omega squared r. So m omega squared r is one expression, or another one I can write is v squared over r. So m v squared over r. Okay, so both these forms would be useful when we need to calculate acceleration and force for a body moving around in a circle.